Hello everyone, this is Tom Geisler, and this is Autism Inside Out. I wanted to talk with, first of all, I wanted to thank everyone. The subscriptions have actually increased a lot, like by a third this last 3 months. 3 months, yeah, roughly 2-3 months. So I'm probably, it's people being at home and surfing more on the internet. I don't know where to begin. I could begin chronologically, but I'll do a short version of some things. This is the second video I've done. First one was kind of just all, and it was just all over the place. And this one will probably be too, but hopefully I'll be a little bit better organized. I've had now a little over a year of low stress. Well, of different stress. External stresses have been brought to a minimum. Work stress, financial, financial has actually sort of increased. That's because a year ago I left my full-time job. And to take another job that was kind of promised to me by somebody who was in a position to own the company, in a position to make that kind of a promise, and it just never came through. And it's a long story short. I'm a little dismayed or whatever. I don't know how it all happened. I'm not sure. But anyway, I took a job at the library, and a part-time job, 20 hours a week, and pretty much minimum wage. I'm not sure exactly what minimum wage is, but this is going to be down there. It's got to be, about starting wages, and so it's minimum per month to live on. And I've been doing okay. I mean, been a lot of stress, it has, but those are the kind of stresses that I've sort of just said I can live with them. And anyway, it's been a part of it. But also in this time off, of course, this COVID-19 thing had hit. That's another whole, that was, I think, kind of was a catalyst that kind of started to, I don't know, accelerate or accentuate what was already going on as far as, because ever since the diagnosis, it has been, and I would almost call it, I won't say an obsession in a negative way, but I mean, your life has changed. Your life has been totally changed. At least that's how that's affected me. To find out I'm autistic, or to validate that I'm autistic. And that was a long process. That was over a year before I was probably close to a year before I would even say that I'm autistic. Now, just because of so many people I've met that are also diagnosed, and I think I'm trying to always fit myself into, you see one person, you go, okay, there's autism, but I'm only 20% of that, and well, there's someone autistic, but I'm only 10% of that, and and so then you meet the one person that you're 80% of or 90% of, and but I'm finding it's almost like traits. It's like someone says, talking about alexithymia or burnout or meltdowns and everything, and then you start to you're picking all these bits and pieces up and saying, yeah, that's my experience too, and it's a long process, and so not only are you learning what autism is inside of you, you're getting rid of all the old behaviors that were blocking being yourself. And so as that starts to diminish, I think this is what's happening to me, is all of the coping strategies I had and denials and everything I had that was keeping me from being honest with myself, being honest with my feelings, being honest, you know, as that's starting to go away, the scales will stay in balance. So this gets lighter, and I mean, it's like they're okay. Here comes all the autistic traits, and it's not, of course, with me. It's not just autism. It's ADHD, dyslexia. I had minimal brain damage when I was born from low oxygen. They said I was cross dominant, which which I think it was more intense than just that I would switch hands. I think I don't know if it's a center line. There's a whole thing about you're right, you're left. Anyway, so I'm realizing, and I think it's hard. It's hard to add one more thing to your little box of, so this is me, and I mean, it's an odd feeling. In a way, the more people I talk to, the more people I meet, the more people I see on YouTube or whatever, and start relating to, I mean, it's other people are reflections, or I mean, people of our tribe, I guess is the one of putting it. People that are like us. They're extensions of us in ways. So it's like we become more. And they say, it's like I'm very isolated now. I'm very isolated. I want to change it. This is one of the things I want to talk about, was that I'm definitely not. I'm not making great progress in the social improvements of my life. If anything, I think that's what's been sort of surprising, is that since I've had this year basically of the old life stresses. I mean, it's in a way it's kind of thrown me into an unknown territory, and that's good when you're trying to unbecome one thing and become something else, because familiarity it triggers behaviors, learned behaviors, so that it's like you go see family and you go back into your masking. Familiar situations, old situations bring on the old behaviors, and it's really, really, really hard to. I mean, you can intellectually at some level change those, but the core whole self still is reacting to a lot of that stuff in the same way, and that's hard to change. But it's changing. But what it's leaving me with, and and it's hard to know what is stress that is clouding my thoughts and my ability to initiate things and to really organize and take control and everything. That's been getting worse. I've had all the time in the world to do the things like clean this house up and straighten it up, which doesn't take any money. It takes time and effort, and I need to do that. I've been putting on a horrible amount of weight. I mean, it's just there's a part of me that I'm sort of amazed. I mean, I feel, I've said this before, I feel like that child. I feel like the child that when all this started. I mean, there is a core, there is a base feeling that I've had since a child that is really strong in me still. And oh boy, where do I go with that one? To me, it's as though Tom, at the age of, I'll say 3, whatever hit me then, whatever made me recoil in a sense, and or at least that's, maybe it wasn't a recoil, maybe it was a realization of this disconnectedness with myself and everything, because I guess I'm amazed that as much thought and everything I put into it, it's like that core hasn't changed. I'm still that confused child in a lot of ways. I'm still having those same troubles that child did. It hasn't helped to have 58 years pass by, you know. You think you'd learn something. Well, I guess I've learned something, but, you know, it's just, so it's major topics or major issues that I'm thinking about. Like, should I be trying to change that? You know, I mean, will I one day just reach a point where I go, just be, you know, be what? You know, I mean, it's anyway. Just watching my time here. It's not bad. About 10 minutes in, 11 minutes in. I'd like to kind of wrap it up because I don't want to make this really, really long. So I have been dealing with major foundations of my past, and even more scary are the foundations that are either left or that are forming now that I'm getting farther from the false self, I'm going to call it, of the masked Tom, and now to become this autistic Tom. What a journey. I'm so grateful to the people that watch this channel, because your comments, one reason I'm making this video is I had a couple comments recently, and it just made me see that some people actually get something from this, which is what I wanted. You know, that's why I started it. And I forget about that in my little private world of my little bubble, that it does help, and it helps me. But sometimes I kind of go, I'm just sitting here talking about myself, and who's going to gain from this? I guess some people do. But I thank you. I thank all of you who've subscribed. I thank my community. I forget sometimes that you understand, because it's easy to forget and a lot of times everybody feels so far away. But anyway, I could go on and on. Don't want to do that. So I see. I've said thank you, and this is the mixed up, crazy Tom Geisler on his journey, my ASD journey. And this is Autism, my inside, your out. Autism Inside Out. And I thank you. I'll get this up, and please give me some feedback if you can. Always great to hear from you. And hopefully I'll make something here again soon. So I wish everyone well. Hope you're doing